I can't remember if it was this subject. I just can't remember where it was. I think it was out of Florida. It was a new local news out of Florida who finally decided to do some goddamn journalism, right? Now, definitely with the mainstream guys, like a lot of them don't even have boots on the ground like that. Definitely with the CNNs of the world, like they really just, whatever cosigns the political beliefs of those that want to cover it is really what you get. And nobody seems to vet the information. They'll say something happened and maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Maybe they leave out some details, whatever it is. Or maybe it's just fucking flat out false. Dan Cohen, big shout out, doing some actual journalism. There was a man out of Texas that they claim died. I heard about this. Died of the Omni-Man variant. And they said that he died from it, and it was like the first case of person that died. Now, again, even if he did, like, okay, doesn't really say anything. It doesn't change the fact that these cases, for the most part, are still mild or anything, just because one person had a severe reaction. But it turned out when Dan decided to do some actual journalism, of this man dying in Texas to be the first American to die of the Omni-Man variant, turned out that wasn't true. Let's watch the video real quick.
We've just confirmed the first death in the United States due to the Omicron variant in Texas.
On Monday, Texas reported the country's first known Omicron death, a man in his 50s who was not vaccinated.
We cannot confirm that the patient died from COVID, but we can say that he was Omicron positive.
Okay, so like keep this in mind, and now we've covered this about the deaths before and how they kind of don't really align at all. But what this call is Dan them saying, okay, let me call the motherfucking hospital myself and see what actually happened. So they're saying
that the patient died from COVID.
They can't even confirm that the patient died from COVID. They can only say that he tested positive of it, of the Omni-Man variant, which is what she says.
We can say that he was Omicron positive at the time of his death.
So he died with COVID, but you can't say that he died from COVID.
Correct. This information comes from our epidemiologists, who are the ones who get the reports. They have to do a very meticulous investigation because, they do take this very much at heart. They're telling me that they cannot say that that COVID was the absolute cause of death.
So they can't even say, let alone the Megatron variant, they can't even say that it was like COVID even caused the death. Now, some of these regarding this stuff, like this is stuff that we saw earlier on in the whole pandemic. This shit happened all the fucking time, right? And it isn't until someone decides, let me actually not take your word for it. And they actually look into it further and you find out that, well, okay, that wasn't necessarily true. Like the guy in Florida who died of a fucking motorcycle accident. And we covered that back in the Gap. Dies of a motorcycle accident and they marked him as a COVID death because he tested positive for COVID. And I love that he's mentioning that all of these people, blue check marks, leaders, politicians, talking about this. Will she correct the record or let the misinformation stand? Don't plan on them doing correction campaigns. No, they want the lie to spread. So if the lie continues to spread, they'll be very loud and making sure that lie spreads. But when it comes to actually like correcting their mistake, don't plan on them doing it at all. But he talks about Lena Hidalgo, among other people who have, again, confirmed that the Omegatron variant was the cause of death for this man, and the hospital can't even confirm that the motherfucker died of COVID at all or was the cause of death. Yet they are saying that this is the first Messiah going on, doing all these parades and shit. Oh my God, the boogeyman is here. The first man has died of the Omni-Man variant in Texas. And then again, now you could put two and two together. And if you imagine that if journalists did this a lot more often, or there were a lot more of them that wanted to vet the information, how much of it would turn out to be false information. But that's not what we have is journalism. I've said this before. I think drug dealers and prostitutes are far more notable and honorable than what a modern day journalist actually is. As far as I'm concerned, because these pieces of shit really are political pundits and advocates hiding behind the journalism sort of moniker, if you will. They're not actually journalists per se, because if most of them were, we'd get more stories like this. And a lot of these people, you see people actually do journalism work, get taken down from certain platforms because they end up confirming something that's very inconvenient and shit. So, definitely with the corporate press, they're the enemies of the people. They're doing exactly what we expect. But I think this is a lesson to be learned for everybody really out there. Stop just taking people's word for shit. And I say this for me about all the time. When I say something, don't take my word for shit. Just go look it up for yourself. Go look it up for yourself. And you'll be surprised how much information you can find. Instead of just entrusting these idiots to sit up here and tell you the goddamn truth. So, turns out, at least not now, they can't even confirm that this man died of the Omegatron variant. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.